doing all these different things is going to drive sales. It's going to drive down actually lead costs. Like what you're spending on ads will get cheaper because you're actually acquiring customers and booked appointments easier. Um, and as well, it will retain your leads longer, which is a huge cost. Retain customers longer because whether or not they even buy from you, they're still going to at least watch your stuff, and you increase the chance of them buying from you because, unlike every other business in the world, you actually vary how you communicate to them, and you're showing you have some kind of personality. You're not just this bland business trying to get a sale.
Hey everyone, welcome to the High Level podcast called Spotlight Sessions. Today I'm excited to introduce to you someone special in our community here that is a specialist in digital marketing, but also in telling stories, enticing, getting people excited, and getting those conversions in the email box. Before we get into that, if you're tuning in for the first time, you're going to get a wealth of information that you're going to be held responsible to take action yourself on. But just know that you have a huge community here to help you along the way. There'll be some links below on how to get started with HighLevel and how to learn more about it. But let's get to our topic at hand here. John Weberg, globally recognized digital marketing consultant in the email marketing space, also an international speaker. You may have met him at TNC or at Affiliate World. Nationally recognized for what he specializes with email marketing, also the CEO of Profitalize, helping small, medium, and large businesses capture their email audience and convert it. After becoming a two-time self-published author, multi-business owner, his wealth of knowledge has impacted millions within the space across the world. And we're excited to have him on here because, look, high levelers are looking for results and strategies to grow their business. John, man, welcome. It's great to finally connect after us going back and forth here.
We made it work, and I think we're going to make it work even better for the audience. I appreciate the very generous intro.
Yeah, man. I think when you hit the nail on the head here for the audience, man. I mean, we do this every day. We publish these new episodes so that way people could feel the energy, but also the effectiveness of how do they use high level? How can they really
Yep.
capitalize on what other experts are doing and they can make it their own in their own ecosystem with their
hmm
customers? Look, before we dive in, John, could you help our audience get to know you a bit better? Could you share with them maybe what first drew you into digital marketing? And how that's evolved for you to shape your journey where it's at today, and maybe what the future looks like a little bit.
Oh, the future we're going to get into big time. What got me into it originally, though, was actually my dad. So my dad had, I live in Minnesota, real small town, about 10,000 people. And we had an '08, the housing market crash. Oh, boo. It was horrible. It affected both of his offline businesses. They went bankrupt. He then turned to digital marketing to get our family out of that situation. And then I, around 12 years old, when my first got started, saw that, created my own gaming blog, taught my entire class to do the same, and eventually around 15, 16 years old, started deciding to make some money with it, progressed in affiliate marketing, started doing some services, and just throughout the years, now I'm 26, I've only loved, been in, and helped people in digital marketing, whether it's email marketing, creating websites, whether it's, improving their sales process, running better ads, all these different things. And from where marketing and digital marketing was 10 years ago or even 5 years ago to today, it's a lot different scene. I'm sure, a lot of the Go High Level audience is seeing that marketing doesn't seem to us work as easy as it used to due to AI, due to a lot of different players coming to the space. They talk about there being, what's the word for it? Industries that are saturated. Every industry at this point is pretty dang saturated. So I think what we're going to go through is a few different ways you can beat that saturation and you can beat, ad cost doubling, especially even during election times and all these other issues that people are facing on a daily basis as they're running their business with Go High Level. And they're looking to make it more profitable because as you make more profits, you're able to reinvest in the growth and the future of your business, which is what we're all on the mission on of right now. And I think real quickly that over time, making these changes that we're going to walk through and many of these other optimizations for your business are going to not just be like cool and helpful and beneficial and profitable, they're going to be needed because as the space gets more and more saturated with better and better and better talent, you have to highly outperform, especially if you want to scale. So I think we're headed into a digital marketing winter, not to be dreary, but a digital marketing winter. But those that take advantage of what you're about to learn, either from myself and all the other episodes that you guys have done, is where you're going to be able to pull ahead.
I like that, and it's almost this mindset shift of, right, how do I create my playbook off of the playbooks of others that have shared these stories with confidence, with tangible actions. How
Yep.
can I make this for my business? Maybe they're not in the same industry, but if you've done some sort of shopping somewhere, maybe you've gotten some sort of inspiration of the
Hmm.
customer journey, and maybe you've implemented that in your business. Look, we're live here by design. We want people to engage with us. We want them to ask questions and just share their feedback. So comment below where you're from, where you're tuning in from,
Hmm.
and as the questions come to your mind, put them in the comments, and we'll do our best to get to them. We'll also have information in the link in the below, whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, on how you can get in contact with John Weberg and the team and go from there. Look, John, let's pivot this to what the people want, which is, how do I make a difference with what I'm doing now to amplify what I want to do and do it more often? And we've crafted this episode today, and
Hmm.
we've titled it "How to Effortlessly Scale Email Conversions with the Three E's." Now, the three E's, if you have a pen and paper next to you, jot this down. Three
Yep.
E's. We're going to go in depth on this. We put this into three pillars. So, pillar one is, what are the three E's and how do they affect conversions? The
Yep.
second pillar is how to apply the three E's to your follow up and other channels. And the third is the segmentation, personalization, and long term list management with those three E's embedded. So, taking those three E's and running
Yep.
home with it. John, let's start to unpack this, but keep in mind that our audience may be at the beginning stage,
Hmm.
or they may be from a distance at the very advanced stage. So
Hmm.
please keep that in mind as you're explaining this.
Yep.
Um, let's unpack this. Three E's. Where do we start?
So the three E's is basically an approach to looking at what types of information your audience actually resonates with, that gets them to build like, know, and trust, that gets them to buy. Because what everyone has heard over the past any time of being in business is that you generate customers from building like, know, and trust. Through your advertising, through your follow-up, through the sales process they go through, you are constantly building that trust. But people, other than providing social proof, offering a great deal, having an incredible, amazing offer or a USP, all these different things that classically they were taught in business, which are all great. This is all needed. You're not technically doing anything wrong. But with that approach only, you miss out on relating, which equals buying. Just so you know, any time I say relating or building a connection or building a relationship, better relationship with your audience, it means buying. When you're only following this classic approach you followed in how you follow up with leads and customers and how you retain them and how you communicate to them, you're missing out on number one, the different types of people in your audience that relate to different types of information. So not everyone in an audience reacts with the same sales page. Seeing that makes them buy. Some people need a different message. They need something that's more story driven. They need something that talks about maybe social proof focused. Maybe they need something that handles a different pain point or pleasure point they have. So the purpose of the three E's, which we'll go through each of them right now, is to address those other things that people in your audience relate to differently. And as well, even if someone does resonate to your main message, maybe there's another part that if you were to hit that in a different way, that would get them to buy. Maybe it's some kind of emotional or logical trigger you can create in your follow up, like I'm going to walk through, which you are accustomed with. Number one, most people are accustomed with the first E, which is enticing, offering deals, discounts, offers, bonuses, why we are the best, why we're so valuable, how we can help you, how we can change your life. And that is generally good, and that works. At bare minimum, it works for most businesses. But where you're going to see a lot more sales, a lot more conversions, and a lot higher percent chance for more of your leads to become customers and more of your customers to become repeat buyers is when you follow up as well, and when your ads and other parts of your business represent the other two E's. And we discovered this through really thinking through it, like I walked you through. When I first got started, we were broke. We didn't have money to invest in the business. That wasn't a thing. We were starting from literally nothing. We were living in someone else's basement in welfare apartments. We had nothing. So we had to generate business from the leads we were getting. We thought through what would make someone buy. So after someone sees all this great information about our offer, what it does, what it helps from, the vast majority of anyone's audience don't buy right away. It takes sometimes months or years of follow up. And still in that case, you still have so many people who still never purchase. We're like, well, they already know what we're offering. They already know how it's going to help them. What else? Like if I was to meet you in person, you're selling soap, what's going to make me actually want to buy from you? And we started thinking not actually necessarily logically, it is logically, but more emotionally of, well, we have to have a lot of trust with you, but what builds trust? Well, when you're telling a client a story about how the soap is made and how you worked with your wife to create the formula for the soap and all that interpersonal storytelling for a lot of people, especially like in person, that draws in people to buy just because they like you, not even because they don't know that you have the best soap in the world. You actually built a connection to them, a true, real connection to them. And from this story and many other stories like that, we realized that you need that approach in your follow-up if you want to acquire and retain customers and leads for longer. So you have the two other E's, which is education and entertaining pieces of content and follow-up. And you normally do this in your normal sales process, right? You have your advertisement, which is entertaining. It grabs attention. You have your sales process or VSLs or your sales page, which is education. It informs them once that's the attention has been gathered. And then you have your enticement, which is usually the offer. And we discovered that even though your customers and leads go through this process, you need a lot more on the back end and repeat of the entertaining and educating content because they haven't seen enough of that to actually make a buying decision, which is why they haven't seen the enticement and purchased. So education is of course offering value, freebies. And when I say like a freebie, like an ebook, I mean not just some ebook of the 3 best tips to get XYZ result. I'm talking about if you're going to have a lead magnet or you're going to make a freebie offer to your audience, you want it to like be almost so business or life changing or however you serve your audience. You want it to be so impactful that they go, oh my God, this is probably one of the best pieces of information I've ever digested on this topic. It is so in depth. I thought this was just going to be another, classic ebook that I goes in my inbox that I get rid of because the first page I tell is just trying to sell me and it has no value. So when I talk about truly educating with how-to videos, walkthroughs of how to use your product, etc., all these different things, you want to deliver a true experience, like a life-changing experience. Think about like any demos you've seen, whether it's in the real world or digitally, that have made you go, oh my God, I see how well this works. This is perfect. As you see my face light up in these different circumstances, or you hear my tone, if you're just listening, think about having your leads and your customers experience that when they get your value, when they get your how-to videos, your walkthroughs, your guidance, any of these different things. Finally, the third E I mentioned is entertaining, which we usually don't do a lot of. Most businesses don't do a lot of that because we're so afraid to go beyond the normal business standards that are professional or unprofessional. We miss out on being creative. So entertaining content follow-up messaging is that which draws in attention and keeps that attention. So, funny skits, funny videos, using a lot of humor, using a lot of storytelling, using a lot of these more personal messaging in follow-up, which I think the next thing we'll walk through is how to actually apply these. But having that present throughout all of your business, again, for the vast majority of people who haven't been educated or entertained enough to even make an actual decision for you, you must have this in place. And if you don't, again, you can run a profitable business. Sure, that's what the majority of the market has done forever. But if you want your business to be hyper profitable, to hyper convert, to retain leads for much longer, retain customers much longer, I advise, as we're going to walk through, applying these to your entire business model so you can actually relate and build longer term trust and actually feel better about the marketing you're doing in your business.
And it was so necessary for you just to unpack all this. And typically, you know, in a podcast and this sort of environment, we go back and forth, right? But there's so much wealth of information here for someone who's at different levels. Even if they're a beginner or advanced, everyone has their standard way that they've done it and they continue to do it.
Yep.
So in order to adopt something new, you have to get the full context of this. So
Yep.
I really appreciate you unpacking this the way you did, because between the education, the enticing, and the entertainment, is there a specific order this has to be done?
There is no specific order, but what I'm going to advise people to do that's very powerful is as we kind of walk through applying this, you want what you'll learn by using each of them is which one resonates the best with your audience. And then once you identify that, you focus more. You still want to use the other out three two E's, but you focus in on that E because depending on your audience, for example, say you're an agency, most likely social proof is going to be your strongest pull. But if you're a business that deals with helping mothers relate more with their children, like maybe it's some kind of, I'm not sure what that even entails, but maybe that's what you help with. It might be the storytelling, the deep storytelling of how your own journey as a mother or a father or whatever the case may be was impacted with your child, or that might be more storytelling that pull. So as you think about, to put it more simply, as you think about different ways you can relate with your audience truly and deeply with a message that is so impactful that they're crying, that they're ecstatic, that they watch your video and go, oh my God, what did I just watch? Whether it's in amazement, whether it's in humor, whether they're laughing, whether they're just mind blown. Think about which one. I advise creating at least, we can get to that, a certain, for multiple things, but think about which of them they're most likely going to resonate with. And think about considering using it in multiple ways. So using that main E that you think they're going to love the most, but also what's a good supplementation with the two other ones? Because all marketing only works once tested. Otherwise, it's all theory. So that's why I love that question because you really have to see what your audience resonates with the most.
I appreciate you amplifying that, because the segmentation, and I know we have we still have two more pillars to go through, but all of this intertwines with each other. And just like how you had
Yes.
given in your example, the messaging tells a story, but you're not going to tell the story in one email, in one sitting. So I want to
Yes.
just touch on the types of stories we tell, the types of paths that we bring our
Mm-hmm.
audience through. You
Mm-hmm.
know, in different experiences I've seen and I've experienced where I've been the sender and the receiver of short, direct emails, where
Mm-hmm.
they're like, for example, hey, John, have you thought about expanding so and so? And
Mm-hmm.
then sincerely, kindly, best, name, title,
Yeah.
pretty much that business footer. I've also received emails where it's been more of a long form storytelling, maybe from an
Mm-hmm.
agency owner or marketer, right? Where it's very just long and
Mm-hmm.
okay, like it
Mm-hmm.
captures your attention. And then I've also sent and received like newsletters, right? That
Yep.
kind of break down like the good old WordPress day of Microsoft Word days, photo here, then wording, then left, or all that
Yep.
stuff. But then also I've received these e-commerce style news email blasts where it
Mm-hmm.
has like, decorative email, call to action,
Yep.
product selling. How does somebody who's tuning in here, whether they have a service product, whether they're targeting an agency to agency or marketer to small business consumer, how do you determine, is there a guide? Is there a rule book? Where do you
Mm-hmm.
go with finding out the right message formatting?
Yeah, so message formatting is important. I think it's key, especially depending on your audience, your industry that you're in. Number one, what I recommend most people do is take a look at the two, three top competitors in your space. See what they're doing, see how they format, see the length, see the and take a look at it and don't copy it, but take a look and go, okay, what elements of this do I think with my audience specifically, again, will resonate most? What's strong, going to most strongly hit? So, like, say for example, you're a consultant, and you take a look at different consulting. You could take a look at McKinsey, you could look at Frank Kern, you could take a look at myself, different people in the space. Frank Kern's style is just literally white background, black text, writing and humor. other people use a lot, like saying a lot of imagery, a lot of different things. Think about number one, what your audience is going to love. Number two, I actually suggest testing it again with your audience. So I prescribe using probably those two, three models is A, black and white text historically is easiest to read, converts the best in my mind and from what I've seen. Literally plain. Unless you're in like e-commerce specifically, for a lot of industries, a lot of businesses, you're gonna see that the more plain emails actually work better. Because for most people, it's just like laws of copywriting. Copywriting that is written at like a fifth or sixth grade level performs above anything else. Simple, keep it simple, stupid, KISS, you formulate, people may or may not have heard, works best. So formatting, I do think, take a look at like your top competitors, see how you can customize, personalize. And what I'd say is actually find three of those examples. One that's plain, find one that's more creative, and one in the middle. And then test with your audience. You could do a series of 9 emails. 3 in this style, 3 in this style, 3 in this style in email sent on a daily or weekly basis and see what gets the highest open rates, click-through rates, see which one keeps people in the email the longest. And then, okay, now that I've found a style and formatting that fits with what they're going to engage with most, now I can start using these 3 E's and identify which of the actual, not styles and formatting, but which of the perspectives to follow up from. You still want to use the others, but which of the perspectives are going to relate with the most. Because also, I'll quickly say, I think this is really important. I think abandoning the others, like even like the formats, isn't always a good plan. For example, some emojis like you're saying are 2 lines. Some are, why am I scrolling for 17 years? I think having a variety, because again, yes, we have an ideal customer, but your ideal customer relates to different types of information and different types of people, even though you're an ideal customer, don't always react exactly to this exact same way. Some are like a little bit longer, shorter, etc. Depends on time of day, depends on how they're feeling. So I also advise using a variety of lengths of copy, of stagnation of copy, and doing that email to email. And that creative approach, again, is going to relate to more people and more types of people, and there are different types of people who relate to different information depending on any variety of factors. Take a look at, again, if you want to follow really good copy, study really good copy, take a look at Frank Kern, Ogilvy, a lot of these other leaders, and look at some of the emails are really short, some are really long, some are, you name it. And it also depends on the purpose. Am I just trying to drive a sale right away? Or am I trying to build a relationship, trying to build some type of connection before I actually ask for the sale later?
I will tell you this, our audience has the ear right to the speaker. And there's a name that you mentioned that we'll get hundreds of support tickets around it. What was the last person?
Ogilvy.
Ogilvy. Okay.
Yeah.
Ogilvy. Are there any based on your experience and your passion for this topic,
Mm-hmm.
are there any books? Because that'll be another question folks will have here.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be
Mm-hmm.
proactive on this as I'm getting to know the
Mm-hmm.
audience myself through these episodes. I'm learning that,
Right.
we got some questions that are pretty oftenly asked on these topics because
Mm-hmm.
what's really nice about high level is that people recognize that they're not the expert at everything, but they're using a
Right.
tool to get them to get closer to be the expert. Could you share some maybe books or some inspiration or some maybe blogs or two, or
Mm-hmm.
even YouTube channels that you say, hey, look, if you really want to immerse yourself in this,
Yep.
here's something that I consume, right? I'm not asking you to endorse it, but just if there's something
Yeah.
that you would.
Yeah. So a really good channel. Watch hours. Watch hours and hours and hours because the best marketers are not the marketers that are the most well known. The best marketers are the ones who can walk you through their ideas step by step, thoroughly with passion, with care, in a way that you clearly understand, because that is what shows true expertise, is when I can take this idea and bring it to you that you understand it perfectly and then know how to apply it. So that's my first most important message. Remember that when you're learning, because there's a lot of experts, there's a lot of gurus, there's a lot of people out there who do make lots of money. But I will argue your ability to make money selling something is not your ability or skill level actually in what you're necessarily teaching. You're just good at selling it. There's a lot of bad players, there's a lot of good players, and you have to find the people and information from those people that you resonate with and can pick those things from. Now, with that being said, I will give a full endorsement and love for a company called The Future. It is ran by Chris Dew on YouTube. He is one of the most thought out, well spoken, clearly articulate, amazing marketers, probably one of the best marketers in our industry. You also have Sabri Subri, who runs King Kong Co. Agency. Highly recommend. Frank Kern, highly recommend. And there's many others in this space. Again, don't go for the most well-known necessarily. There's a lot of well-known rising up people who might jump to mind right away. Don't look at those examples. Look at ones again that maybe have a smaller channel, smaller following that are more detailed and focused in on what they teach and preach. My own channel, I also do recommend. I give a lot of value. Seriously, and I do that because if what I'm doing and saying even right now isn't impactful for you, other than like ethically, it feels horrible. B, just me wanting to help people. Like it's my job to deliver. So I think these are people like that I mentioned, especially the future. Chris Stew, Frank Kern especially. Sabri Subri is a new one for me, who I'm starting to like a little more. I like his content. Follow these people who are less extravagant in their taste of how they present to you, and more extravagant in the intense depth of what they preach.
Yeah, man.
That's what you want to look for.
You just spit some dragon fire, and I respect that, and I think our audience can resonate and just really feel that emotion attached to it. When you're in the marketing space and you can learn right without a problem solving equation, without riddles, without playing
Without
so
showmanship.
yeah, man, like just trying to figure this out based on the clues, but like give me something to use and run with.
Yep.
So powerful. And as we were talking back and forth through email, because everyone's time is limited, right? We try to be respectful of everyone's time. We were going back and forth on some of these topics, and I had shared with you, do you mind pivoting a bit? And you're like, no problem,
Mm-hmm,
man. This is what I love to do. Like,
mm-hmm.
yes, you would have loved to talk about email deliverability and crafting this and doing that, but right, we're in 45 minutes of solid value. I
Yep.
appreciate what you put together for us here. Now we take what we've learned and now we've got some steps on how to be the sponge and absorb this
Mm-hmm,
knowledge. Now it comes to applying, and I feel that
mm-hmm.
at all levels of marketing, there's just this excitement, right? Where I learned something new. My intent is to do it. I got books on books on books on books. I'm committed. And
Yep.
then a customer punches you in the face. Uh, potential client charges back. Something happens with an employee or a contractor, and then you just lost track.
Yep.
How do you go about to perform and create a repeatable process to get in the zone when you craft and create your emails to follow up and to go to market on these other channels and to like
Mm-hmm,
really be in this right state of mind to apply the 3 E?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think the main frame of mind is number one. My goal is to have the person on the other end as deeply feel what I'm saying as much as possible. It's not to sell. Again, a lot of this is like your job is not to sell with email at all. Your job is to build insane amounts of deep trust, love. Love. Does your audience love you? Does your audience open your emails and go, "Oh my God, I know what's going to come next. There's going to be a joke. There's going to be this. There's going to be personality." That's a big part of it. Is whatever you're writing. If I'm going to give like a guideline, whatever you're writing, your personality needs to shine through. And a lot of brands, businesses don't have quite yet a personality for their brand that needs to be in place. If you don't have that, there's a reason why your audience isn't resonating or buying or would be buying as much as they should from you. So, number one, your personality should seep through. And you shouldn't be afraid to show it because that is what people build like, know, and trust with. I like Frank Kern. I talk about him way too much for his humor. That's what his brand is built upon. Part of this goes into brand building. Part of this goes into so many other elements. It goes into the email deliverability. It goes into all these different aspects and conversions and sales because people want to get communication from you that's actually going to change their life. That's actually going to make them have an aha moment. That's going to actually make them laugh. So the 80th email you send about, hey, we have another case study. Hey, we have another case study. They know, listen, if you're like someone who goes and that's your social proof, they know you have tons of successful clients. They know you have 800 more case studies to send them. But why should they actually trust you other than like that part of it? What shows that you're an ethical company? What shows that you actually deeply care? Yes, they know they're going to get results, but there's more to business than that. People don't think there is. There's more to business than just the results game. So, A, think about how you can be articulately felt deeply. You want to be felt, not heard, not listened to, felt by your audience. Uh, Number two, all formatting of all emails, ads, etc., all the above needs to be conversational in tone and flowing. Stops, longer line, stops, bunch of text. You want to stagnate all copy, stagnate all scripts, because just like I'm pausing and thinking, that is how your audience reads. That is how they absorb information. You have to absorb it in it or create your content and follow up and all the above with think about like the best storytellers you've ever heard. Like I've already mentioned, they already have passion. But they also have these other elements of articulating themselves with great words, I call power words. Words that make your imagination really draw and think. Also, they write in a way and speak in a way, and this is how you want to come across in all of your marketing, your advertising, your sales process, your follow-up, your VSLs, all the above. You also want to do that in their language. So that's kind of the main approach, mainly what I think about. And also, again, my objective, while your objective, especially like email marketing, is to get someone to click on a link to go to a sales page. That's less of my objective than my objective to, again, have them learn something or reveal something in their mind. Because then they are going to click automatically or a lot more likely because they had that aha moment. They had that laugh. They had that relation. This emotion you're trying to generate and pull causes the sales and customers to flow. That's what you need to do. Um,
So when you start to you feel like you got a rhythm,
mhm,
and the rhythm is dictated by the data. What are some metrics, some data points that you look at to determine if that story is resonating?
mhm,
Is
mhm,
it with just is it the open rate? Is it the click through rate to a certain
mhm,
page? And then if just to bolt on to that, do you incorporate any video, um, any landing pages with video, or do you
mhm.
drive them to your YouTube channel? How do you bring that email to life in your expertise and experience?
That's perfect, and it goes along with like the actual application of these three E's and what I'm talking about. Do not let me forget that. How do I actually? What do I send them to in email? Don't let me forget that. Your first point question. What was that first question?
It's
As I was.
basically the data. I mean,
Oh
how do you
yes,
start to
yes.
determine that this stuff is resonating? Is it the click
So
through rate, forward rate, open rate?
I would say it's the direct click-through rate in sales when you've tested in this manner, which I'll walk through, which answers this first question and the second question as well. Is so what I prescribe people do. This is a lot of many things we do for our clients. This is one of the main ones that works so incredibly. Like I mean, this is what I spoke about in Budapest about. This is what I'll be speaking at TNC about. This is this is so effective. It has never not worked for a single client or any one of our businesses. I've been an affiliate marketer for since I was 12 years old. Anything I've ever done, this has always worked. So take that with a grain of salt. It's literally never not worked. What we do is we create custom VSLs according to the other E's that we don't primarily have and send them to in our main sales page or sales process. So to walk people through this simply, imagine you take your current sales process right now, which is an ad or piece of content directs your audience to an opt-in free lead magnet, some kind of landing page of some kind, then brings them to a sales page, a page to book a call, you name it. This is your main page that generates a customer, generates a booked appointment. Those are probably your two goals, main goals. When they hit this page, just imagine this is also why we do this. If I was to see this page and to be sent through an email to this page the 10th time, a 20th time, Nothing's changed. Nothing is going to get that person to become a customer. Yes, email copy can help. Different email copy, different social proof, etc. will help. But generally, if I keep sending them back to the same page, the 50th time means nothing. So we prescribe, and you can do this, is actually pretty simple to do, really easy. Big brands can do this, small brands can do it, whether you're in e-commerce, B2B, B2C, you're a lawyer, it does not matter. Is we custom create 3 different sales pages with 3 different VSLs, focusing in on what we think, and you can test this by trying it, is going to resonate most with the audience that isn't so generalized like this main pitch. Because all of our main pitches on your sales page, on your VSLs, whatever you're sending people to majorly to convert into a sailor, a customer, or book call, it covers a lot of the main enticing points. Here's who we are. Here's what we do. Here's how we help you. You name it. Pull from one of these you want to hyper focus on. Maybe it's a VSL that is just social proof. Hey, I'm the CEO of the company, or someone on your team makes this video, and we want to just show you step by step all of the amazing successes and actually walk you through each of the projects of each of our clients and how much we care about them, how much we love them, and the great, amazing results. And that's the entire video. It could be it could be an hour long, it could be a 30-minute long video just on social proof. Then maybe you make another VSL/sales page that you direct people to from email. That then, by the way, each of these pages you create, these different pages, direct then to your main product service you're trying to sell, or they can directly book a call, they can directly generate a sale too. So let's say we're going to create 2 other pages. One's going to be just the story of your company and why you care about your customers so much. So I would walk through, hey, I got started with nothing. My entire life, I was broke. From being born to probably about the age of 17, my family did not do the best. And along that entire journey, I've always wanted to help people this is all true, help people, make them smile, make them laugh, have them feel the passion and love that I want them to feel, because that's always amazing. And what I'm telling you now, this is resonating, and this will resonate with your audience because you're actually sharing something that's genuine, passionate. Everything we've gone through, which is, I love how this podcast actually has flowed. Everything we've gone through goes into this messaging that you're hearing right now. That's why you might actually feel something about it. So create another VSL entirely about the story of yourself, how you created the company, why you created these products or these offerings specifically, why you think truly it's going to change your audience's lives in some way or another. A deeply felt message, and you can create another around, maybe it's a pain point. Maybe it's a certain pleasure point, like your most powerful pleasure point, your most powerful pain point of, this is a whole VSL just about, okay, there's these 3 things that we hear a lot from our clients. The pricing is, it's a lot. We understand it's a lot of money. We also understand that the timing may not be right. And we also understand this third factor. Well, here's 3 reasons why. If you take advantage of working with us right now, we can tackle all of these. And we're willing to do anything. See, that type of messaging is much better. Just listening to it, I can tell hearing it as I'm speaking is much better than, hey, my name's John. We have this great offer. We can help you. And you need to have these different focuses. Again, it's not just because I say so. It's because your audience, think about your grandma to your daughter, who, how they understand and hear information and digest it is entirely different. The same thing is with your entire audience base. So what we do is, and this is what I suggest people do, is create 3 different sales pages other than your main sales page or main sales process. They can still book to call. They still link to book a call. They have a button on the page that goes to book a call, that goes to checkout, etc. And you send these after your main email sequence, or main emails have first directed them towards that main sales page or landing page you already usually use. So don't change your entire process. What you do is you create these 3 different VSLs and sales pages, and after, say, 7 emails, direct them to the first main offer that you've done your entire business career. Maybe it's a checkout cart. Keep directing them to that checkout cart. Keep directing them to that checkout cart or that book a call page. Now, the next 7 emails, focus on your copy and just your CTAs and everything in this email on this other that you're trying to hit. Maybe you probably haven't really captured the attention of your audience yet. Or maybe they really aren't educated enough. We need to learn more about these other pain, pleasure points, storytelling, all these other elements. Focus on that in the next 7 emails, and then switch to the other VSL in the next 7. You keep doing that and stagnating that and switching. And by doing that, you will relate a lot deeper and with a lot larger portion of your audience and get them to convert and click more. And real quick,
Powerful, man.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. No,
I
no.
was just gonna say really quickly, this
Yeah.
also does affect number one, email conversions. Every time we've done this, like for affiliate contests, we'll create 5, 6 different sales pages of stuff of me doing flips, really creative, weird stuff, of me dressed up as a barbarian. I have one video of me dressed up as Neo from The Matrix. I have like a red and a blue pill. It's an amazing video. It's on YouTube. Probably can find it. Um, Doing all these different things is going to drive sales. It's going to drive down actually lead cost. Like what you're spending on ads will get cheaper because you're actually acquiring customers and booked appointments easier. Um, and as well, it will retain your leads longer, which is a huge cost. Retain customers longer because whether or not they even buy from you, they're still going to at least watch your stuff, and you increase the chance of them buying from you because, unlike every other business in the world, you actually vary how you communicate to them, and you're showing you have some kind of personality. You're not just this bland business trying to get a sale.
Yeah, it's the way I'm receiving it, you play best of all worlds and you resonate with your customers and you give them less reasons to go somewhere else because
Yes.
they see that you're diverse, you do have different approaches and people want, yes, they want the specialist, but they also want the generalist and then they want the relatable human being and they don't like you
Yep.
made that example of like the super proper corporate advertisement. Like no one you mentioned before the generations and the audienceship and just the way people buy and people size things up has changed
Yep.
tremendously from buying cars to buying gym memberships to buying clothes from
Yep.
shopping on Amazon to buying on eBay. There's the segmentation that's been aggressively increasing and it used to be something that just the big companies knew how to do, but
Yep.
segmentation now more than anything has evolved. I know that's our third pillar, and I'm excited because
Yes.
I almost forgot we're live, man. And you got yeah, this is near and dear to my heart because there's so many different approaches, but the way that you're describing it, and if you're with me here in the audience and you're saying, I get where you're coming from, JB, because when you hear someone else saying and you've done these things in the past or you've experienced it or you've had
Yep.
this theory that this could work, but you didn't have enough buy-in or support either from yourself, you had self-doubt, or the
Yep.
people around you didn't want to co-sign on it,
Hmm.
well, then maybe it was something like I missed out on it, but now it's like, darn, I really missed out on it. So I
Yep.
appreciate you really unpacking the belief and passion you have for it. But I want to talk about here because I knew this is going to come up, and I
Hmm.
always get a nudge or like a tap on the shoulder. I'm like, man, I should have asked that question. High level users, they take this wealth of information. How could they sprinkle it within their day to day and high level? Because
Hmm.
now, because marketers in our space, like, okay, does that mean I need a whole different tool? Does that mean I need to build a, do I need to build a tool?
You need nothing, right? You need nothing else, which is the
These
magic.
folks right now are building how to build a tool within high level. They're going
Yeah.
into marketplace. They're
Yep.
contacting their coder. We need to go this, that, and the other. Could you break it down? How can we use high level with its native features right now?
Yep.
If you could just treat me as if I was a paying coaching client and I asked you, JW, how do I use this high level software to get what you're sharing with me
Yep.
that I'm spending a lot of money to learn and do?
Again, I'm so happy you asked that. And also, generally, this is the most simple, easy thing you can do. Well, like all these stuff I've kind of walked through, this overarching ideas, which is laid out perfectly as we've gone through. It all goes into it, but you don't need to know any of this. All you need to know is just number one, Go High Level has what you need. Number two, you log in, you go to create a landing page or sales page, or what I would do is actually create a new funnel and just have 3 steps. Make all of them just go into your editor. It's really easy. Go into your editor. One of the most simple drag and drop, extremely fast loading. Create a video option, a video embed at the top, and then create a button. that goes to your main call to action you want people from your emails to be directed to. You go, you create. By the way, I'm just going to go with one. Create one variation, one of these E's that you think is going to be strongest to relate. Just create a really deep video about how much you care about customers. Send that out. See how it does. I guarantee it will perform very well. Focus on creating one page, the different perspective that you're going to hyper focus on. This sales page, literally, it's a video and a button, maybe a headline. You could do a headline, sub headline about what you're going to obsess on, really hyper focus, go deep in this E you're going into. Go record the video, upload to YouTube or wherever you want, embed that video, make sure the button goes to the link or sales page you want to go to book a call, checkout cart, buy. Now, take that video URL, or not the video URL, that page URL, go to your email sequence, add, don't do 7, add 3 emails, write 3 emails that all have this link that you just made for this new hyper-focused page covering one of the E's, and write the copy as well in the same perspective that you're following with this E. So for example, if it's mainly social proof based, the copy in the email, these 3 emails you've added should be social proof based, you know, or about social proof. The same thing if you're doing storytelling or any other topic. So the email should match with the video and the sales page that you created. All of it should be congruent. So you add 3 emails in your autoresponder, which is really easy with Go High Level. Just add on 3 more emails to your sequence. And then once you've done that, if it's in an automated sequence, they're going to get it automatically. These 3 next emails, and you'll see how your new sales page and emails convert. And I personally guarantee you, it will generate you more customers and more conversions. And then what you do then is, okay, maybe you've done 3 emails with one main focus, new sales page.
And just to see if I'm collecting this the right way. The questions are coming in, and for those of you that are commenting below, thank you. Just to be respectful of John's time, your time, we will get to some of these questions as I'm asking questions. I'm looking at the comments, and if we don't, we'll find a way to get the answers to you. But more importantly, I'm understanding now that I don't need to make 15 landing pages. I don't need to make 150 email sequences. Start with one component that I believe is a great starting point based on my
Yep.
audience. When it comes to sending that out, I don't want to go too deep on this tactic. I'm just trying. Let me see here. So I send that out. What are some of the responses, and then what do I do with those responses thereafter?
Mm-hmm. So the responses you're going to see most likely, especially if you do a deep and good enough job, you're going to notice you should see a higher click-through rate, and a higher, like you should see from your back end of any tracking of sales being generated, you see obviously sales being generated. And as well, if you do a very good job, you're going to see email responses directly. You know, a lot of these different emails/videos we've created, people will comment on, they'll love, they'll reply back. So watch for that because just as you do, like all email is just people talking to other people. You're talking individually to one person. If you do that deep enough, you're gonna get people who respond. And of course, response means I've done a good job. That's what your job to get someone to buy. Your whole job is to actually create an emotional response. So watch for responses in the email inbox. Watch through open and click through rates. I would say open rates, depending on your headline, it may decrease or increase. Mainly watch for an increase in sales. And as well, I do recommend broadcasting out to lists. So, a lot of times we do segmentation based on engagement, based on where our leads are at in their process of follow up. I'll broadcast out to an entire list of leads who have not bought yet, unresponsive or responsive, something like this, because this stands out. This truly stands out. And by doing this with, again, do a maximum of 3, minimum of 1 main new VSL sales page and 3 emails to go along with it. If you were to do all 3 of these, you're going to see over time, it's not going to take a lot of time, but you're going to see over the course of these, let's just say 3 days, 6 days, 9 days, if you do all 3, an increase in conversions, 100%.
Yeah. And the foundation here is the email, and you brought up some points here. I just wanted to clarify. Obviously, making sure where we're driving traffic to has an action that turns into some sort of revenue, whether it's
Yes.
lead capturing or, like you had mentioned, a purchase. So making that
Mhm.
experience on the landing page, correct me if I'm wrong, is so important to be clear. What are you asking them
Yes.
to do on there, whether to capture, opt in, redeem, or buy?
Yeah, and that depends on what your goal is. So, for example, the agency wants book calls. So throughout that VSL, and your CTA, your button on the page, you're gonna drop while you're focusing on this E, like the storytelling. You want to integrate. By the way, if you want to work with our team, say it's an agency, you want to work with our team, you want us to be able to change your life like this has changed our lives, like I'm telling you right now how our company was made and why we serve you. Go ahead and book a call. Click the link below to book a call, and that can direct them to your main sales page or booking call page, whatever you normally use to drive business. Yes, so you want to tailor that to what you would normally direct them to in your emails on average. So again, most businesses have, if they're e-commerce, they normally send them to a checkout cart or a specific product. You can, from this VSL, this new sales page, and from the button on it, you want to, in the video and with the button, direct them to your normal sales pages that you've always used.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just to touch on this last part of our second pillar, if you're just tuning in, we've been spending some time here, almost about 15 minutes or so. So you want to rewind a little bit. Our topic here is how to apply the three E's to your follow-up and other channels. I want to touch on this other channels part.
Mhm.
Yeah, in a world of SMS, where a lot of sales and a lot of relationships are being built, in the world of leveraging, um, like threads,
Mhm.
X,
Mhm.
YouTube,
Retargeting ads, all the
all these
above.
different elements. How do you determine what you should explore and what you should capitalize in with these other channels? How do these other
Mhm.
channels fit into the three E's and the email?
Yep. So one, people, I just thought an incredible statistic on it. I don't know the exact statistics, so I won't even read off. But let's just say if your audience sees communication from multiple channels, the chance of them converting into a customer and retaining as a customer is like so many times more higher. It is beyond one of the easiest business hacks there are out there. So number one, understand that having omnipresence or marketing across omni channels that all lines up is your easy game changer, because especially in today's market, like you're saying, people go back to Facebook. They leave the page, the sales page. They've seen it the 800th time, maybe use threes. They go to a different page. They go to look it up in SEO, in Google, and all these different places they go to. You want to be there constantly in their mind. So basically, you almost have, like I say, omni-channel follow-up, because no matter where they go, if you're active across all these channels using all of these three E's, they keep getting hit, not just on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on X and Threads. They keep getting hit with storytelling, with incredible value, with a walkthrough, with a guide, with all of these different types. Like I said, there's so many different types of content you can create from the three E's, but they're hit from so many kinds when you're creating content across these other channels that there's almost no possibility, or it's a lot lower, that they're not going to see one of these, and one of these different are going to not going to stick, because again, you're not like every other business out there who's following up with, or who's creating content on Facebook that matches their email they just sent on, again, the same generic pitch they've pitched to their audience the 800th time. This time, imagine a business. Everyone, let's just do this. Put it simply. Which business are you going to work with? Situation A: you get emails from them, and you see an occasional Facebook post from them. And their Facebook posts are, every single time you see a Facebook post, it's, hey, here's a story about one of our clients. That's all they post about. And their emails are the exact same thing. Scenario B, my preference. Uh, when you get emails from them, sometimes it's like a storybook. It's like this compelling. It might even be a fictional story. They might like use like stories from the medieval ages and relate it to how their agency gets you clients. Sometimes they send you testimonial videos, But that doesn't get annoying because sometimes they send you uh, skits they've made in the office. Okay, so far you have that, just an email. Then when you go to Facebook, all they do is they do a little bit of social proof once in a while. Maybe that's on Tuesdays. But on Thursdays, they'll actually walk you through how to actually use their agency service. And maybe on Fridays, they give you personal stories outside of business. They relate it maybe, but they give you a little bit of personality, and they show themselves and maybe a restaurant they went to and they relate that in some way to. You get what I'm saying is doing that then across not just Facebook, but making sure your blog is active like regularly. If I go see to look at who I'm going to hire for like an agency, which I usually don't hire agencies, but in particular circumstances, maybe I'm going to hire a different agency or consultant, or I'm working with my own client and I'm checking out their own socials and their own profiles, and I see that they haven't posted a blog post in 7 years. It may not be like a whole entire differentiating factor between me working with someone, but it's a piece. And your job and business is to meet all these different pieces wherever your customer goes. So they constantly have this bombardment of positive. Oh, John's active on Twitter too. He's on Threads. Oh, his stuff is kind of funny. He posts a lot of. Maybe you post a lot of memes on Threads or on Twitter or sorry X. You post. So then the reason why I'm talking about all these different platforms, like we mentioned, why it's so impactful is everywhere I go, I am getting a different type of messaging in a different type of format that isn't just the same general pitch to me over and over and over again. Because you're a human, you know that's annoying. You know that isn't what's going to get you to buy. Is when something draws you in, whether it's funny, it's a story, it's this remarkable client study, it's this guide, this free 3 hour video. For example, say I'm an agency, I help people get leads. I would create a 3 hour entirely free video that I would share all the time about here's how you can actually get leads on your own. Now, this isn't the same as working with us. If you do want to work with us, go to the link below and purchase, or go to the link below to opt into our a lead capture and learn more about us. But here's one of the strategies we can actually give away for free because we truly care about and we love you. Your audience eats up personality, and what I prescribe people do is when you create these different VSLs, when you create these different these different based follow-up slash VSLs and sales pages, share them and do the same type of content you're creating here across all of these different channels. Don't be afraid to vary your approach. And then again, as you're using these different E's and sharing these different types of content you're not used to normally creating on these different channels, check out which one gets the most engagement and try to focus more on that. For example, there's a company called ClickUp. They're a team management service of sorts, and they've gotten some attention lately because they're creating some really not usual business-like content, video style, skits, and funny stuff that's getting massive attention. And the reason, again, why it is because it's real personality, and what they're doing is they identified out of the professional stuff they made, out of the funny stuff they made, and out of the different types of ease they're trying, they saw, oh, funny resonates and gets us tons of views and tons of engagement, and in long term, it's going to generate us the most entertainment, which will bring in people to be able to be entertained and enticed. We're going to do a lot more of this. And now they're making a killing. So as you're trying these things out, you're maybe applying just a few of them, watch what's getting the most engagement, and then try to stick with and be more creative within that approach. Because as you try each one, you're going to go, okay, now that we did this funny thing and this really resonated, how can we make this even funnier? How can we make this better? How can we make sure people share it and get our content out there? So apply
I-
this
I'm
across. Go ahead, go ahead.
I'm going to throw a keyboard at you here, JW. You just, on behalf of those that are listening right now, you said it's my job to do this marketing, to find out what's trending. Like, how is this my job? Like, my job is to serve my customers. My job is to, right, keep my payroll coming in. You tell me I have another job now to be this dancing marketer or this emotional let my personal feelings out marketer, and I have to like, when did this happen?
It happened with the innovation of AI to me. It happened with all the competition. You know how many marketing agencies there are now versus 10 years ago? I want to say it's your job also because it's the most effective thing you can do. You want more business, right? You want more customers, right? You want your customers to be happy to love you. Well, what's something else that you can do to serve them? Because all of business to me is my job is to serve 1,000%. If I cannot help you with my products, services, my offers, I should not be in business in the first place. So it's your job, I would say. A, the competition is going to wipe you out. If you don't make it your job, other companies that are starting to turn on the personality mode, look what Ryan Reynolds does with the businesses he goes into and sells them for 5, 10, 20x in months, not years, months of a rebranding because he gets so creative with their advertising, just their advertising alone. That might not even include like their follow up or any of these other channels. You or someone on your team should have a more creative role because if you don't, more creative companies are going to heavily outperform you because of competition, because of everyone wants to do the most simple brand approach possible. Yeah, you could keep doing that, but that's what everyone else is doing. If you're going to take the marketplace, you can't do it doing the exact same thing you've always done and that everyone else has always done. You have to stand out. Think about for me, for example, like Go High Level, to use it as an amazing example. Go High Level is one of the most comprehensive, data driven, easy to use, does just about everything CRMs there are. You do it pretty much all. And you almost have to in this marketplace, which is why Go High Level is growing so fast because when there's 800 different CRMs, what makes yours stand out? Well, in the services realm, it's well, unlike all these other competitors that shall not be named, we actually do it. Our service is faster. We have better support across channelly. You guys are among, if not the very best. And I think a lot of people, you don't have to do this. That's another thing too, is you don't have to, but it depends on how much you want customers and how much you want to grow. And also, don't view it as a job. I use that. We use that. View it as I can make being a business owner actually fun. I can make it enjoyable. The crazy skits, like I could show you of. I'll actually probably send you some of the stuff I've made. You're gonna be like, what? Why would you? How would you? What? But it builds that personality and it performs so well. So think of it as a extracurricular activity that can drive sales in the most enjoyable way.
Yeah. And what I really enjoy about this time, and I see the comments below, and people are understanding the intent of the direction we're going. This isn't designed to be a heavy techie percentage based, do this to get that. This is more of a bringing the intellectual and the emotional and you as an agency owner, your customers as paying
Yep.
customers or prospects, the ecosystem, the industry, the general omni approach that businesses are required to adapt to or they get run over.
Yep.
And I appreciate you just having fun unpacking this because I know it's very easy. We haven't had a chance to get to know each other. We're at this live on the flow. Thankfully, we're jiving here. We're really passionate about what we do.
Yep.
But some people take these questions defensive and they go a different route because
Hmm.
their opinions are so strong. I'm
I'm
just
gonna double down.
yeah, man. But so I want to talk about this. Speaking on the double down part here now, this third pillar
Hmm.
is segmentation, personalization, long-term list management. For someone that's tuning in right now, that says to me, JB, like I never heard of you before, never saw you before.
Hmm.
I don't even know what the software is that you represent on your shirt. And JW never heard or saw you either, and don't even know what these events that you're mentioning are from. But I've heard and saw the person that wrote this book that I bought on Amazon, or I heard and saw the person I follow on LinkedIn, or I heard and saw the celebrity that is endorsing this. Is that by design or is that just by luck? Like, how does this all play with a large audience, the person as the brand, the business as a brand, and like the universe, like
Hmm.
people that are doing business?
Hmm. I think it plays into where this is all headed. Again, I think we are in what is going to be for some is a true digital marketing winter. As more and more people jump online across every single industry, as AI complicates absolutely everything out there's going to be over the next 5 years a transformation of probably every single industry there is by far. So this approach is used and proven. I want to give also some examples of kind of like what I'm looking at, other than like just Ryan Reynolds. Used and proven. Let's take a look at, for example, also. Have you ever heard of liquid death?
So it's funny you mentioned that. At the gym I started going to, they have this energy drinks section, and I saw that there, and then I saw a few other ones. And see, I used to go back in the day to the mall, and you go to the whatever, whatever it was either
Hmm.
start with a G or started with a V, and you
Hmm.
buy something that's there. And then that became all like personal branded to the store.
Yep.
And like they took away all those types of brands. Like I remember back in the day where Super Pump and all these different right pre-workout drinks.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
assuming
Yep.
you're talking about Liquid Death, the soup, the
The
pre-workout.
water, the water. They have pre-workout too, but the water, they originally
I
started out with just
I
water.
never tasted it.
It tastes just like everything. The point I'm getting to, listen, it's just water. Hear me out. It's just water. They didn't even start out with flavored water. It was just regular water. Was the name has personality. The branding, if you the liquid death cans, it's like this smoky ghoul skull that's melting. And the reason I'm pointing them out, like it's just literally just water.
Well, no, because I'm thinking about I did an episode with Frank Kern. We did a workshop, and he
Mhm.
had this aluminum can, this can of water. And I'm like, and he's like, no, the guy, this is water. But this, I don't know if it was, I don't know if it was that either. But
Mhm.
it's different than what we're used to with this bottled water.
Yeah, yeah, yep, yep. And thing out is because it truly became from nothing. No one, what are the biggest water brands? Dasani, Aquafina, Liquid Death. What? It's one of the biggest water brands in the entire world in like a few years.
So how could someone take that example and
Mhm.
apply it to their high level business? How
Yep,
could they
yep.
take those elements?
Mhm.
Like if you were to use that example, like what would you take from that, maybe the marketing or the popping out to apply to what we've learned here with these three E's: segmentation, personalization, personality.
I think you have to, which is it's business related, but also not
Go
decide for
for
your.
it, because nothing is
Yeah,
just 100% business
yeah,
related today,
right.
bro. Like this has changed. Like we've kind of built this up here that
Mhm.
businesses have broken the business rules as long as they are speaking to their audience.
Yes, yes, yes. I think it goes to don't be afraid to be your real character that you are, which is like you're saying. It's to me, it's business, but not business. Like I've enveloped over my years. What people say to me is, I'm very personal, kind of funny. I'm always smiley. I'm very warm. I kind of stick with that. Like my sales calls are exactly like this. If you read my emails, they're exactly like this. All of this creates brand, which is people don't know really what branding does. It's the ultimate converter of everything you do in business. So what I think people need to do is think about what do I do differently? What is my personality like? What does my business have a focus on? And then double and triple down on that. Maybe it is social proof. Maybe you're the social proof king and you dive into social proof with storytelling, with funny skits, with this, with that, with all these different things we've walked through. But hone in on that. For example, like Sabri Subri, I like his brand. He swears a bit in what he does. He's kind of like really blunt, honest. That's a completely different style than Frank Kern, who's really funny, laid back, chill. But both of those brands are strong. Both of them convert. They both double down on their personality. Yes, they match them to their audience. So Frank Kern over the years has, you would think of him normally as some kind of hippie doing all types of funny, weird stuff who kind of is this surfer guy. He's a really cool guy. I used to be his head sales consultant. Shout out to Frank Kern. Um, but you have this personalization of him, and that's what draws people in. And maybe it's not B2B, it's not professional, quote unquote, but it sure as hell converts like crazy. And people have to be A, not afraid of, identifying that within their brand, was within my brand and how I act and who I am and what I want my business to be. What is the thing we double down on it? Is it like, go out of like our services that you cannot match us? There is nothing that does everything we do as good as we do it, as fast as we do it with this type of service. Is it, find the element that defines you. Are you more intellectual? Are you more sociable? Are you more emotional? Are you more, you name it? And try to characterize that into a brand identity, into something that you can latch onto and that your customers will latch onto and like and love. And don't be afraid of them liking and loving it, because right now, I mean, 99% of the people listening to this, you don't really have a messaging or brand. It's just, here's what we do, here's the best way we help you, which again, all this stuff works. You're going to run a business and you can do fine. But it's if you want to grow and grow hyper profitably, take a look at Ryan Reynolds, take a look at Squatty Potty, take a look at Liquid Death, take a look at Squatch, take a look at anyone you follow or any brand you follow and what drives you to it, and think, if I could do that for my own business, what would that actually look like? I can't say specifically for your own business what that would be. I think you have to mix in your own personality and your own gut feeling. Like, that's what I've done with my brands. I go, I'm kind of funny, just genuine, I just say what comes to mind. I'm just me. I'm going to kind of stick with that. And people seem to like that. And that's why I think people are afraid of, is that their audience won't like it. What your audience doesn't like is you being this generic, regular, degular business that has no emotion attached to it. Because what makes people buy is emotion. It's almost 100% emotion. I've had people buy from me many cases where I'm not the best option because I feel like the best option. How do you choose your spouse? It's not off logic, I can tell you that. It's there's probably some like, oh, they treat me good, whatever. It's all off emotion, brother. It's all off emotion. How do you choose your, you name it, the place you go, like the best bar in town. They got good drinks, whatever. But there's a server there. There's this bartender there. He takes care of me. There's all these different examples you can think of. Think of them and then use them and represent that in your customer service. Represent that in your, you name it, in all these different places. You put in that passion. You put in the emotion. You do all these different things. Your business will overall, especially omnichannel, but also your follow-up and all these things will perform so much better, because business does well when there's actual heart and soul into it. People feel that. And it's
Mm.
hard, you can't quantify it, but it's there because you can read it off Frank Kern's lips and listen to it. And the same with me and other people who speak.
Yeah, we're gonna add the period at the end of that because I don't want the microphone to fly, the chair to fly. We get passionate about this, which is amazing. But I want to fire off some questions if
Mhm.
you're okay with this for this last pillar.
Mhm.
I think it's important for our audience to just get these direct answers if you're cool with it on my end
Yeah,
and
yeah,
your end.
absolutely.
First one is when you segment, are you using tags?
Yes.
And are you using short form tags? Are you long form tags? How do
A,
you go about this tagging portion?
a lot of my segmentation, what you want to base upon the action, to put it simply, the action or inaction of your leads, hitting sales pages, opening emails, not clicking on emails, etc. All tagging should be based upon the action or inaction. Then, when you tag a customer based on that action or inaction, you want to then deliver them more content based upon that exactly. So if someone is more engaged and they're tagged as someone who's opening emails, clicking emails, they're taking a look at these different E's or different sales pages or even your main sales pages, they are more receptive generally to more salesy language, because they are looking to buy and they are signifying that by their action, by the length of time watching videos, by opening and clicking on emails. So you tailor, once you've tagged them as engaged, you then put them into a different sequence that is based around, again, say if it's an engaged person, more salesy language, more heavy offers, discounts, deals, because they're getting closer to pulling the trigger, so to speak. The same thing with unengaged leads, or unengaged customers. Unengaged customer sequences you can create, because if you're seeing customers who, are logging in less often, who are not clicking on their emails, thanking them for being a customer with you, etc. They also need to be treated differently. So tag them and then put them into a sequence that can re-alive them, that builds that bond again, that goes back to kind of getting that attention because you've lost their attention for some reason, and you need to find out why. And you identify that through using different types of communication and follow-up that, again, uses, I think, a lot of these three E's to, okay, well, they're not engaging. Is it because I wasn't entertaining? Was it because my storytelling was off? Was it because, and you do that through saying, here's 2 emails on storytelling. They're still unengaged. Let's tag them as really unengaged. I'm going to send them 2 more emails just with storytelling, or not with storytelling, with say any other example. I'm going to repeat myself because we've gone through so much. Use a
No, no,
different, yeah, yeah.
and I appreciate that, and just to to see if I can pick up on this part because now I you shared the inaction and action, which
Mhm.
powerful for someone who doesn't know where to really start because
Mhm.
sometimes people do long form tags based on emotion or what they
Right.
believe that person is going to feel like interested or good
Mhm.
for this or good for
Mhm.
that. When it comes to broadcasting to this list,
Mhm.
is it better to use is it better uh, let me rephrase this. Do you recommend somebody having 4 or 5 different email services, like mass email services?
Mhm.
Do you recommend them sending them through a bulk email, one bulk email sender,
Mhm.
without getting too in depth or too techy? Just where is a good place to start when it comes to distributing the actual email,
Mhm. Mhm. You
sending
well,
out the email?
yeah, I mean, just to go high level,
Okay.
and just to your regular autoresponder, just send out your emails. It depends if we're doing broadcast or we're talking about an actual like an automated sequence. I mean, regardless, you
But
can
let's just say two
tag.
points. We do broad, email list to, 30, 40,000
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
I've heard and seen, and what's your opinion on this? They'll
Mhm.
get, email server one, they'll put 5K emails on there, email server
Oh,
two,
okay, I understand.
5K. And these are like commercial branded emails where they brand them to their domain. They
Yep,
just don't
yep.
use like an Amazon AWS or a
Yeah,
Mailgun or a
yeah, yeah,
Sendinblue.
yeah. Um, you can do that, but in my opinion, using these three E's, it's way less necessary, which is also what simplifies a lot of, using different servers or using different domains and all these different things, which you can start getting really heavy into with email. Um, Now, should you send to
I
segmented
think
parts of
I,
your
I think
of
you
your
answered it for me. If you're not spamming, you shouldn't have the problem.
yes, and that's the biggest thing is what this does is, people are like, well, yes, I understand exactly what you're saying by even asking that question. Yes. A lot of people think that if they email, they're spamming, they're going to have all these people who are unresponsive and different things. But that's because what you're doing is spamming because you keep sending the same things over and over and you're just saying the same message in a different way. So, regardless of what we both said, which is true, if you're not spamming, you're not going to have deliverability issues. You're not going to have sales conversion issues. What I'm talking through solves all those issues. But in general, if you want to spice it up even more, should you send to segmented volumes of your list? Sure, send it to different volumes and see which of those. You could send a different email with a different e to each of those 5K, for example, in that example. Or you could split test. It depends what you want to test too. You could also do send time. So you could do send time over a 3, 4, 5, 9 day sequence. So go by send time, go by the different E you want to use, and in your list, which one got the most clicks. And if you can track it properly, which of these emails, which with the time, with the E, also drove the most sales.
Man,
Yeah,
value
yeah.
on value on value. I mean, the chats are on fire here. I had a great time with you, man. I hope you feel that yeah, you were treated as if you were a guest at my home here, and you feel good about the time you got to spend with me. We went totally over than what we both allotted. Hopefully, hopefully we didn't lose out on meetings or we didn't make anybody mad. But I think it was well worth it. And you had said it earlier. It's for the audience. The audience is receiving this, and we appreciate you spending an hour and change with us as well. There's a lot
Yes.
to say about the time you spend with somebody, the knowledge and attachment that you have to them over time can bring you the success that you've been manifesting or hoping for. So,
Thank you.
John, any closing remarks here as we wrap this episode up?
Yes, I'll share two quotes. Which are if I might be able to do three, I'll just go through them briefly. That I created, I think when I was like 15, like 18, and like recently a new one. The first one is aspire for progress, hunger for success, and strive for greatness, which has the obvious meaning, push, push some more, and then keep going in everything you do in life. The other one is your attitude is not defined by your life is defined by your attitude, which means you get to consciously decide how you react to everything that happens in your life. And you can react to it in a positive way, you can react to it in a negative way, you can react to it in a way that builds business, generates more, or that keeps business, or that lets go of business. And finally, I also have, I'm probably going to butcher my own quote, but become all that you can so that all that which you despise doesn't become all that you live by. Which also means that you must push. These quotes actually kind of go together. I'm gonna tie this together for the first time. You must push. You can get to decide how you push and interpret that push and keep moving it forward. Because if you don't, what's going to happen in life and business and relationships and any area of your life is most likely going to be the thing that you don't want to happen, that you're most scared of. So you have to push. It's your only chance, and if you do it and you do it in a fun, genuine, amazing way, you'll live a great life and have a great business. And I'm telling you these quotes because they're what I live by, and I think they can also help people who decide to follow them.
Well, thank you for opening up, right, your mind, your emotion, just being transparent with us, and really, sharing this wisdom. I think it's important, and it's the perfect time to say, we're at a time right now, like you mentioned before, that things are changing very fast, and I hope that the audience finds these nuggets, they grab a few and they run with it. John, it's been an amazing time with you. I'm excited for what is to come from this episode, the feedback we receive. If you get any stories before I do, please share.
I will.
But I appreciate you sharing your expertise, your insights. If you feel the same way, audience, let us know below. I hope there's one or two things that you could share with us that you say, look, I'm running with this, or this brought me clarity. John, we're at it, man. It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I look forward to staying connected with you, to our audience.
Absolutely.
We always look forward to the next episode. We got more fire coming at you.
Yes, we
We'll
do.
see you on the next one. Take
Take
care.
care. Appreciate you.